people on the American side got a very good understanding of Mayor Ho's views on cross-strait relations and U.S.-Taiwan relations.
His prepared remarks, we had the opportunity to all pose questions.
We asked the various people involved asked a lot of really tough questions, and Mayor Ho answered them all, gave us a great view of I guess how he views Taiwan.
侯友宜到美国，坦白讲是连番开红啊，连 Bonnie Glaser 葛莱仪啊，
对啊，
葛莱仪是很亲民进党的，
对，
他都不得不公开说一句说 Well prepared， 说侯友宜准备很是啦。我认为美国的风向本来就是侯友宜。
最主要我来的目的是让美国人了解，我当选总统，负责建构一个有能力让台湾永续繁荣走下去，也可以跟我们坚强的盟友大家并肩合作，共同努力维护台海区域的和平稳定。
Are there any following questions after you hear Ho Yo-yi presentation? Did Ho convince you in the defense policy?
Well, let me just say a few things. We had a very detailed and substantive discussion today between Mayor Ho and Taiwan specialists in the Washington, D.C. area. Mayor Ho engaged directly with the Americans attending, and they did so with him as well. My co-hosts and I believe that people on the American side got a very good understanding of Mayor Ho's views on cross-strait relations and U.S.-Taiwan relations, and we're grateful for that. And I think that Mayor Ho heard very clearly what the interests and concerns of people on the American side were. So thank you.
So did you discuss the 92 concessions during the meeting, 1992 concessions?
Well, this was a closed-door meeting. What was said in the room stayed in the room. So I can't really talk about the details. I mean, I would say that it was substantive, very engaging, and both sides learned a lot.
What exactly are you looking for from Taiwan's presidential candidates when it comes to national security? Is it a stance on military conscription? Is it the spending on new weapons? What do you want to know from them?
Well, it's all of that. I think that we understand that Taiwan faces great challenges, both domestically and externally. But I think Taiwan's leaders understand that as well. And so this kind of discussion allows us to go over those issues.
What can the presidential candidate in Taiwan to do dislocated of the tension and risk?
I'm sorry?
What can the presidential candidate in Taiwan to do dislocated on the tensions and risk? How to lower risk of the candidate? This Ho Yo-yi is to do well or impressive you in this meeting?
It's very noisy here. I'm sorry. I can't hear you so well.
It said impressive view about Ho Yo-yi. His skill about leadership to communicate with China.
Well, I'm not going to talk about details. I will say it was a very engaging discussion, very substantive discussion, and it was one from which we gained a lot.
And
okay?
The three candidates, which one is more outstanding?
That's a question that I refuse to answer.
Do you feel more confident with him after the meeting?
Well, I think I've answered that question already, and in the way I described the discussion.
Given that there's a chance of collaboration between presidential candidates and parties, will you hold these meetings again in the future?
Well, I think the situation domestically in Taiwan is so uncertain that it's impossible to answer that question. We'll just have to see what happens.
Did you give him any suggestions to deal with the cross-strait relations or the U.S.-Taiwan relations?
Well, that goes into the details of the conversation, and what was said in the room stayed in the room.
And President Biden has said multiple times that he will defend Taiwan when the PLA invaded this, and Mayor Ho seems to support this idea. Did you discuss the issue today meeting?
That has to do with the details of the meeting, which stay in the room. So, thank you very much.
This was my first time meeting Mayor Ho Yo-i. So it was really a good opportunity for me and, of course, all the other experts in the room, most of whom I think had not previously met Mayor Ho, to get a better understanding of his views on a wide range of issues that are, of course, important to all of us who study Taiwan. So it was really an excellent conversation. And in addition to, of course, his prepared remarks, we had the opportunity to all pose questions. And I felt that, as Richard Bush just said, that Mayor Ho answered those questions directly. And there was a lot of back and forth. So I personally came away with a much better understanding of what Mayor Ho's vision is for Taiwan, the policies that he would pursue if he is elected. And so I'm really grateful to have had the opportunity today to host this meeting, co-hosted with my Brookings colleagues. And of course, we have previously co-hosted a session with Mayor Ko-wen-je, and so it was good to have the opportunity now to have, of course, the KMT's candidate here in D.C. as well.
You have said before that China is tend to Ko-wen-je because it's communicated before, and now is it Ho Yo-i is different with Ko-wen-je? Is that because before they have cooperation with China, is Ho Yo-i more leadership is more good than Ko-wen-je?
Sorry, not going to answer that question.
What's your first impression about him? Because this is your first time to meet him. What's your first impression about him?
He was very well prepared. He spoke, I think, very comprehensively about issues. I think he really conveyed a full understanding of the challenges that Taiwan poses and the work that has to be done not only by Taiwan but also the United States and Taiwan together. So it was. My impression is that it was that he has thought through some of these issues and challenges that he would face.
Can you describe
a word? That it doesn't matter who wins this election, Beijing will not stop ramping up its pressure on Taiwan. So regarding his visit, what are some of your main observations?
I've already, I think, shared with you a great deal of my observations, so I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, there is another question. Since KMT considered to be pro-China, does the U.S. have any doubts about Mayor Ho, or do you believe he will walk on so-called path between extremes?
I don't work for the U.S. government, so I'm afraid I can't answer that question.
Or for you, or just for you?
I will not answer that question. That's my personal view. Really doesn't matter.
Given how short the meeting was today, will you seek out another meeting with Mayor Ho to talk more about different issues?
Well, if I have the opportunity to visit Taiwan later in the year, I would certainly seek out all of the candidates and meet with them to continue the exchange of views. Absolutely.
And describe words for Ho Yo-i, maybe more truly or some stateable about Ho Yo-i. Describe him.
Don't understand the question.
Yes.
Sorry.
We had a very substantive discussion, talked about a lot of issues. It was completely off the record, closed door, so I can't share any of the details. But it was, we asked the various people involved asked a lot of really tough questions, and Mayor Ho answered them all, gave us a great view of I guess, how he views Taiwan, his vision for Taiwan if he's elected, and also his understanding of U.S.-Taiwan relations and the challenges Taiwan faces. I left with, I think, got a much better understanding of how he views things, and he has, I can say, a very clear understanding of I guess how the U.S. views the relationship with Taiwan, and also of the critical situation that Taiwan is in right now.
During the meeting, can you hear侯友宜raise the questions about the United States? Is there anything like helping defend Taiwan or providing the weapons?
So I can't share any of the details of what was discussed.
And
how is what he told you or the impression you got of him, how does that change your understanding of the KMT's defense policy?
I guess the discussion just gave us a clearer idea of some of the specifics. He had very specific answers to every question that was asked. We also got in a lot more depth about, he published a really good piece in Foreign Affairs yesterday, or a really clear piece that expounded it all. So, we have these conversations with every political party, with various candidates, and they're always constructive. This one was, I think, particularly important because, I think there were a lot of questions. A lot of people in Washington didn't have as great of an idea or an understanding of where Mayor Ho and the KMT today stand on some of these issues, and I think it helped us get a better understanding.
Do you think Taiwan is the most dangerous place in the world? Do you think that侯友宜can lead Taiwan to cross-strait peace?
So I do not believe Taiwan is the most dangerous place in the world, and I cannot really answer that question. But, I can say that Taiwan faces some pretty serious threats from China, and that the U.S. and the Taiwanese government are very well aware of these threats.
Can侯友宜
briefing, how confident do you think that侯友宜 3D strategy could reduce the tension in Taiwan Strait?
So I don't want to get into any detail about, how I view his policies or any other candidate's policies. This isn't the place for that. But I can just say that, we had a very substantive conversation, and look forward to continued dialogue with the various campaigns.
And what quality侯友宜have is impressing you?
I'm not going to get into any detail. I would just say that he was very clear with his answers, and he was very clear with the vision that he has for Taiwan.
So, do you think the 3D strategy reduced to tensions in the Taiwan state is more clearly to communicate with China?
So, I'm not going to go into any detail about what was discussed, but I will say that what was discussed was pretty clear, and that was appreciated. Thank you all for your questions.
侯友宜到美国，坦白讲是连番开红啦，很多人都认为比预期表现得好，尤其是智库那一场，连 Bonnie Glaser 葛莱仪葛莱仪是很亲民进党的，
对，
他都是。不得不公开说一句，说 "Well prepared"， 说侯友宜准备很妥当。
他是觉得他是闻到风向变了吗？还是他的真心话吗？
不是啦，我认为美国的风向本来就是侯友宜啦，是你蓝营自己菲律阵营没有整合好嘛。侯友宜其实，我觉得我先讲美国的部分啦就是侯友宜其实传达的非常精准尤其那个彭博那个访问，他们已经先发了那个中文的标题嘛就是实力寻求和平嘛，然后那个交流增加理解这个就是他2个 D 嘛，我记得他有3个 D 啦，3个 D 啦
原来好的益生菌真的可以帮助入睡。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌是国家认证 AB 克菲尔益生菌，含7种有身份证的专利活菌，能产生 GABA、色氨酸等助眠因子，难怪吃了更快入睡，也睡得更好。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌也是台湾市场上唯一添加克菲尔乳杆菌 M1 的产品。这是由台湾知名的大学季转，对季节敏感、调整体质的朋友真的是一大福音。还有这支还添加被称为超级食物的羽衣甘蓝萃取物， 不少研究都指出，十字花科蔬菜有助抗炎及防癌，像是羽衣甘蓝含有高量的叶黄素、贝塔胡萝卜素、维生素 K、维生素 C、叶酸等丰富营养素。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌专利制成，无塑化剂、无重金属、无人工添加物、无410项农药、无香料调味剂、无防腐剂、无色素，7大保证、7大认证，觉得好安心。每日克菲尔时刻美好 ，Good Feel Feel Good，快点购下单！太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌。